A business is really like three parts. So you got like the audience, you got your product, you got your sales channel.
Right.
So I think Amazon is an amazing sales channel, and that's why a lot of people start with it. But I think a lot of people get so bogged down in like one thing, they don't focus on the other two. And more like entrepreneurs should focus on product, because that's ultimately what your business is all about, right?
One of the things I tell people is that entrepreneurs, we're spinning so many plates.
Yeah.
And if you focus on just spinning one plate, you can spin that plate really well.
Oh, 100%.
But then if you're spinning 5 different plates, like, you know, you only have 2 hands, 3 plates are gonna drop.
Yeah.
And you can't even spin those 2 plates
Exactly.
very well.
Yeah.
So I think you're absolutely doing the right thing, where it's like, hey, I have a dead focus, I'm gonna squeeze out Amazon as much as I can, and once I hit that growth, that's when I can maybe hire someone to take that side over and then explore another channel. I trust that life will take me to a better place based on the action I've taken today. Trust the process. All right, what's up guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we have a special guest. We got Damien in the house.
Sure.
Damien, AKA the Cookie Monster.
Yep.
All right, so
thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's my first time interviewing in person, so happy to be here.
Awesome. So yeah, super excited because Damien your background is you're an Amazon seller, right? You have some products on Amazon, and you're like, man, this is kind of boring. So you decided to do something a lot more challenging, which is launching a keto cookie company.
Yeah, well, we're starting with cookies, but we have like other products that we have in line.
Yeah. And I thought, you know what a better way to start the show today by sampling one of your cookies. I
for sure.
haven't actually tasted them yet, so I'm gonna.
So we got the cookies right here.
Ooh, it looks like a weed dispensary.
Yeah, I know, we get that a lot.
Are these wheat cookies or just normal cookies?
Just normal cookies, maybe in the future though.
Yeah, should I take?
Moment of truth.
Oh wow.
Do you like them?
I do like them. I like the texture. It's very like it's as if like they just came out of the oven.
Yeah, so that was like the whole like premise when we like wanted to make the product. There's like a lot of like healthy cookies out in the market, but usually they're like hard and crunchy.
Yeah.
And kind of taste like, they have like this weird aftertaste. So
no, this is the opposite of hard and crunchy.
exactly.
It's very, very
we
soft.
wanted to, you know, like when we were kids, we had like cookies and milk before bed. So that was like the whole idea when I wanted to make the product. I want to make it like soft and crunchy, kind of like symbolizing like fresh out the oven kind of feel. So yeah, people really liked it. And like when we were first starting out, we asked like a lot of people, do you prefer like hard and crunchy or like soft and chewy? And like a lot of people pick soft and chewy, so that's what we always.
What was the ratio like?
It was like 75-25%.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So.
And how did you go about asking those people? Like, did you create a Facebook group, or how did that process work?
Yeah. So just to give you like a little backstory of
how please.
I started the business. I think it was September 2020, and back then it was like. The whole idea of the business, Effing Snacks, is to solve like late night cravings in a healthier, more sleep-friendly way. And it all happened like one night when I was chilling at home after a long day, watching some Netflix, and then I was just really craving some chocolate chip cookies. And I was, at the same time, I was taking like a lot of supplements for sleep, like magnesium or like CBD oil or ashwagandha even.
Right.
And that was just kind of like the light bulb moment. Like, why don't I just like take all my favorite and most like popular midnight snacking options and make them healthier, and then also like enhance it with like sleep boosting ingredients. So that's kind of like the ultimate vision for Effing Snacks. And then I got into researching about like late night snacking. Like no one is really talking about late night snacking as a category. You see like a lot of better for you snacking companies like protein cereal or like gut health soda, but no one's really focusing on the sleep aspect of snacking. But when I like researched it more, $50 billion is actually spent on like snacks consumed between like dinner and bedtime. So there's like this huge market that no one's really talking to. Like we see like Nestle and like Unilever like researching more in the category. So I was just like, fuck it, let's just like dive in, start research. It felt right. So and I'm a health nut myself, so I was just like, okay, let me just make some product. And then right when I had the idea, I really wanted to build like an audience before I launched everything. So what I did was I hired a social media manager to run my Instagram page. And what we did initially was a lot of like food and beverage companies post a lot of like food product photos or like reviews, and that's all great. But what I really wanted to do was like humanize the account and post like memes and like funny content that people can relate to. So that's kind of how we built up our first at the 500 followers or so. So from September to January, that's when we focused on building our audience, and it was mainly through Instagram. And what we did was we actually created an opt-in page. So it was just Effing Good Snacks, a headline about like what we want to do, and a video of myself just talking about the business, and kind of like a box that people can opt into when they want to, follow along the journey. So we siphoned people off from Instagram and then sent them over to this opt-in page where people can sign up and just like follow along with the business. And we just communicate through email with those customers and or pre-customers about like what we were out to do, when we launched, like why we decided to choose like this ingredient versus this ingredient. So that's kind of how we like kick-started the business and the audience piece. And yeah.
All right, interview's over. Went through everything. I'm just kidding. One thing about the cookies, one of the other things I felt like, so the cookie a whole bag only has 1 gram of sugar?
No.
Or one cookie has 1 gram of sugar?
So there's 2 servings per bag, and each serving's 6 cookies. So 1 serving has 1 gram of sugar, 3 gram net carbs, 3 grams of protein, grain-free, gluten-free, dairy-free. So
I felt like they were a little bit sweet, on the sweeter end.
Yeah, so we use like sugar alternatives, so like keto-friendly sweeteners.
Right.
We asked our audience like, hey, do you prefer like coconut sugar, or do you prefer like sugar alcohols, which like erythritol or like monk fruit? And 90% of people picked like that. So we kind of like built the business alongside with our audience. So
right.
whenever I have like troubles with like deciding whether to go with direction A or direction B, I just ask them and they help out. So.
And you communicate solely through email, right?
Email and Instagram. So like I just pick like channels that I can like consistently focus on.
Right.
And I think like a lot of people kind of like try to diversify their traffic sources too much in the beginning, but I think just like focusing on what excites you the most and like where you can consistently like put all your energy and focus to, which for us was Instagram and email.
Right.
Yeah.
So you started this company, you had the idea in September 2020, right? And then you started building a list from September until December 2020.
Yeah.
So during that time, you were gathering insights from your customers, what they want, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
How did you go about, because like, if I ask some random guy on the street, right, like, hey, do you want to go create a cookie company, right?
Yeah.
Even Josh earlier said, it's like, oh, you just bake them yourself, right? Like, how do you go about creating a cookie company? Well, you can find like a manufacturer who will create that for you. But like, how do you even go about doing that? Like, how do you go about finding a cookie manufacturer?
Yeah, so like I had the idea of like a basic idea of what I wanted before I started going into like product development or even like building an audience. So I knew that I wanted it to be like healthy ingredients, clean ingredients, low sugar, made with like sleep boosting ingredients. So I kind of had this like basic idea, and as I was like building my audience, asking them, I was like researching different like manufacturers that could help me like bring this idea to life. So I just did something like very simple, Google, just like keto cookie manufacturers. And I had like a list of 5, and I just like called them up, emailed them, and then see which manufacturer resonated with the vision I had the most and could help me out the most, and who had the best communication. I think like communication is so important because your supplier is like part of your team, right? So if you don't have like a good relationship with them and they don't know what you want, then I think it's very hard to scale a business. So after that, I just like contacted a bunch and ultimately landed on one that helped me out with product development, co-packing, shipping. I plan on launching Amazon, so they're gonna help me do that as well. So yeah, and then
So I was following your journey because I was part of your email list, and it was a lot more downs than ups, right?
Yeah,
like
100%.
Everything went wrong, like this ingredient went wrong, that ingredient doesn't have, and you can't. So like, talk to us about what are some of the challenges of actually doing 100%. The product development side.
Sure. So from September to December, we were building up our audience. And then in January 7th, 2021, we actually launched our pre-order. So I wanted to test the idea as quickly as possible to get sales as quickly as possible because sales cures all. And I want to see if there was actually like a product market fit for the product. So what we did was using that like email list, we built up, we launched pre-orders, and like right out of the gate, I think for the first day we got like 50 sales. And I think what I credit that to is just basically being like open and honest as possible, showing people behind the scenes. And I think that if you like bring people along with you, they're kind of like, there's like a positive feedback loop that they want to like come back over and over and like see what you're up to. So that happened, launched pre-orders, everything was great, kept getting more orders, which was awesome. But then one thing happened, our ingredients ran out of stock. So we're a supplier, there was an ingredient shortage. So we were supposed to launch around March, April. It's what, August now? Yeah, August. So we're about like 5 to 6 months, a half a year late.
Yeah.
And there's been like a lot of downs, and I think it can really get you if you're not, like you don't know how to manage expectations, I guess. Because throughout this time, we've just been communicating. So I think as long as you're honest and honest, then your audience can really feel that way. Because we've gone, I think, over 250 pre-orders up until this point. And so far, throughout all the delays, we've only gotten, I think, less than 5 people who refunded.
Oh, wow.
Like I give people the option to, refund, cancel, whatever they want. But people just like feel this connection to the brand because we use storytelling and use emotion to kind of attract people and bring them along the way. And I think like I heard one of your podcasts one time, and you said like use the analogy of like a lighthouse and how like you're the lighthouse and it like spins around the light, and some boats flock to you, but some boats stay away. So I think like as long as I just keep sharing my message, keep sharing everything, some people will naturally flock to me, some people won't, and that's okay. And I think it's just like part of the process.
Right. So how much, in terms of dollar amount, how much have you done?
We've done nothing crazy, like 5.5K so far. And I used that to like fund part of my very expensive purchase order.
Right.
But yeah, it's just good to, I think like at this point, I'm mainly focusing on like revenue and acquiring customers rather than profit. Because I think as long as you acquire customers in the beginning, then you have like, you're building up an asset, which builds up like the value of your company. So
yeah, totally. Yeah. So I guess looking back for the past, like you started this again September, we're approaching 1 year, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the, again, I never want to say like what are some of the mistakes, because I truly believe everything is a 100%. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
But now looking back, you're like, oh man, like only if I knew like that, or only if I knew like it was this. What are some of the top things that you've learned thus far into your very, very early journey?
Trying to like pinpoint a specific thing, but I think what comes to mind is like belief. I think a lot of, me specifically, and maybe a lot of entrepreneurs, they try to look for outside validation for other people to believe in you, when you should believe in yourself, and you attract other people to believe in you. So in the beginning, I think I was looking at like what other people thought about the business and them validating it before I fully was all in and believed in myself and the business. But once I had that like mental shift, then everything's like, if I think to myself like my success is inevitable, then like even if I have like all these downs or all these like challenges that I face, then like, it's just all part of the process. I just shrug it off and go on to the next one. And I think like that is like what I would tell myself, just like believe in yourself, find like things to like confirm your belief, and build a business that you want to build.
How old are you, by the way? You're like 20?
21.
21, yeah. So you're very young, right? And you didn't go to school, right?
I went to school
college?
for a semester.
You went to school for one semester, you dropped out, and
Yeah.
you were like traditional Chinese parents?
Yep.
So kind of shifting the focus a little bit, right? Because a lot of people do follow me, they're a little bit on the younger side.
Yeah.
Like what was that like?
So I mean, I was 15 when I used to live in Hong Kong, so I moved here by myself when I was 15. My parents wanted me to go to like UBC because that's why I moved out here. So, I went to high school, supposed to like go the traditional route, but I always knew that like school wasn't really what I wanted to do. So you know, one of my friends told me about like business. He gave me my first business book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then after I read that, everything kind of like shifted in me, and I just wanted to, you know, do something that I truly am excited about, like be my own boss, so to speak. And then I just started, I had a mindset shift, and then I started looking into like Amazon and launching my first like physical products. And then, that's how like.
Yeah, share the story of how you made a deal with your parents though.
Yeah, so when I first started, I told my parents like I wanted to like sell like products on Amazon, and they're like, "What the fuck is that? Like, what is that?" Like, and then I was just like, "Hey, like, listen, like, if I make like $30,000 a month, like, do I have your like permission to drop out?" And they're like, they just kind of like laughed at me, and they're just like, "Sure." Like, and then like a couple of months, 3 months later, I hit that goal. I actually got like my first sale when I was in school, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, I got my first sale." And then after that, I just like dropped out of school, and then I focused on like e-commerce like full time, and haven't really looked back.
Yeah, that's awesome. But then Amazon, you said, was kind of boring for you, so you wanted to like build a real brand, right?
So my first like business and products I was selling was like yoga brand. Like I don't do yoga. Like I think also like what I would like tell myself is to like really build a business that you're really excited about, and that means something to you, that like you have the vision of what you want to create in the world, because it's good. Like the money was great selling yoga products, but it just wasn't something that, you know, excited me.
Right.
You know,
it was just numbers coming in.
Exactly.
Like units moving out, right?
But like with like Effing Snacks is different. It like hits home because it's like a problem that I experienced myself. So it's kind of like scratching your own itch.
Yeah.
It's like different. It's exciting. It's fun. I'm passionate about it. So I think you gotta like find something that really genuinely excites you and just like go for it.
Yeah, so where did you get the idea of, kind of going back to your Effing Snacks company, so where did you get the idea of actually like building the pre-launch list and then gathering the fans and so on and so forth, instead of maybe just like, you know, like ordering your inventory and just like trying to sell it on Amazon? Yeah,
well, I think like a business is really like 3 parts. So you got like the audience, you got your product, you got your sales channel.
Right.
So I think Amazon is an amazing sales channel, and that's why a lot of people start with it. But I think a lot of people get so bogged down in like one thing, they don't focus on the other 2. Like you see a lot of Amazon sellers just like sourcing product from China, and you know, it's probably shitty quality. And I think like more product and more like entrepreneurs should focus on product, because that's ultimately what your business is all about, right? Like creating amazing products and acquiring customers and retaining those customers. And I think like for me, I just wanted to focus on like a lot of like the 3 areas, which is audience, product, and sales channels. So for the audience piece, I think if you have an audience, you can like sell whatever you want, wherever you want.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you have like a responsive and raving audience that is truly connected to your brand and cares about what you stand for and what you believe in, I think that's like literally the most important part. So I think something that we're working on right now is, you know, building relationships with influencers who could help us like take off. Because you see like a lot of companies, like especially like celebrities, like the audience, like Kylie Jenner, like Rihanna is like the youngest, like the first like music billionaire.
Yeah.
And they all built physical product businesses on the backbone of their responsive audience. So I think that's like what the future is going to be, like partnering up with someone who already has like the audience and launching with that audience. And that's like something we're working on. And just like the pre-launch list, like we don't want to launch to crickets, and we want to get outside validation and feedback as soon as possible. So once someone pre-orders, we like take care of them as good as possible. So customer experience is really good, important for us. And then we send them samples, get their feedback, and then we reiterate. So pre-launch list just helps us like validate and like launch.
Right. No, that's super, super smart.
Yeah.
And my fiance right now is doing the same thing
Yeah.
with her new business.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, like, which logo do you like better?
Yeah.
Which packaging do you like better?
100%.
Like all these different things, and you're getting real data instead of like, oh, like which one do I like
Exactly.
better? Which is really phenomenal. So you mentioned earlier about your big purchase order.
Yeah.
Was the MOQ really high? Was the cost really high? Or
Yeah, it was. So the MOQ was 150,000 individual mini cookies.
Right.
Cookies are actually like a lot harder to make than you think. They require like their special machines. So to get like a good run and not be too expensive, you have to like order a higher quantity. And you know, the purchase order was like around like $30,000, which is insane. But I funded it with like the pre-orders and like the money I had from my previous business. But it's definitely a scary feeling. But I'm excited, man.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's so when is right now is all under production or?
Yeah, so like right now we're securing all ingredients. So our supplier is getting like all the almond butters, everything ready. Yeah, so like sourcing the products actually takes like 3 months and production takes 7 days, which is crazy. So we're expecting to launch mid-November. So we have like these 3 months to get everything ready, and hopefully we have like a big hockey stick launch.
How big is your list right now?
About like 6,500 people.
Oh wow.
It's nothing too crazy, but a good enough audience to launch to. Yeah.
Right.
We're talking to like a bunch of like influencers, sending them products. So hopefully when we launch, we have like all this like traffic and press and awareness. So,
right. Are you trying to get into the press right now as well?
No, not press, but just like mainly like influencers, like micro influencers in like the health and wellness space. Yeah.
Do you have any tips on teaching people like how to find influencers, how to vet them, how to talk to them?
Yeah. So what I do is just I find like one account that is like my anchor influencer that like if I had this influencer it'd be like amazing, and then I just kind of like the arrow you tap and then it shows like similar accounts.
related
yeah, so
accounts.
I just kind of like put all those in a list, and then I find like the ones that I would love to work with, and then I just shoot them like a DM or an email, like go for the easiest yes possible. So like, hey, like can we send you some product? Or like, hey, I love to talk about like a potential sponsorship or partnership. And you usually get like a no, but with those that you do get a yes, you just like make an amazing care package for them. So like something we did was just we included the samples, nice handwritten note, and then we found something that they're really, really passionate about or they really love, and we include that in like the care package, ship it off to them, and just hoping to build that relationship with them even more. So yeah, and that's mainly what we do, just finding them, contacting them. And I think like a lot of people might feel like scary to reach out. I know that was like the case for me, but I just kind of adopted this like mindset, like fuck it, like you never know what might happen, so why not do it?
Yeah. Worst comes to worst, they say no. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Worst thing they can say no.
There are lots, man. That cookie is pretty good.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
So okay, cool. So you're about to launch, right? You're gonna hit up your influencers. You're gonna do like a splits, like just like a campaign where they're gonna promote your product like all in one day kind of thing. You have your email list. Yeah. At what point would you? Because those things, the traffic will slow down, right?
Yeah.
So what is your plan to keep the traffic going?
Spoil those customers as best as possible. That's kind of like what we're doing right now to manage, people who orders expectations. So something we do is when someone pre-orders, we send them a thank you note. And I also like, if you're on Shopify, there's like this app called Bonjoro where you can like it's an app, you film yourself, so like, hey, like, blah, 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 thank you for ordering. Send that video to them. And we just like as many touch points as possible to connect with that customer before they actually get the product. So when we do launch we gather like a lot of like video reviews. So that's like what we want to do once we launch, is to like get as many reviews as possible from the customers. And I think that also boils down to like the audience piece, because when you do have an audience, you have like that one-on-one communication with them where you can like ask them for feedback or reviews, and then you can use those reviews on your Amazon, your website, whatever it is, and you just spoil them, treat them as well as possible, customer experience, customer service, and everything like in between.
Right. Are you planning on doing paid ads as well?
Yeah, we plan on like doing Facebook ads, running that to like a landing page, and then getting them to opt in email and then sending them to Amazon. So like Amazon is where we're prioritizing taking the sale, but we do want to, connect with the customer and get that customer's data before we actually do that, instead of just,
blindly sending them off to Amazon.
Exactly. Or like just listing something on Amazon, which is what like I've done before, is just put up a product, run a lot of like PPC instead of like building an audience and building like a genuine brand.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know, like, why are you prioritizing Amazon instead of maybe your own website?
Yeah, so like Amazon's an algorithm, right? Like if you have the audience and you send them there and you show them like, hey, like this is like genuine, people are genuinely interested in this, they rank you higher. And it's just like hundreds of millions of people shop on Amazon a day. You don't get that like traffic like anywhere. You have to like run ads. Like, you know, if you have your own store website, you have to run ads to get those like customers. But Amazon, they already have the customers. Like, why would you not take advantage of that?
Right.
If you have the audience, send them there, boost up your ranking, and then, you know, you kind of like kill two birds with one stone.
Right.
You get the ranking, you get the reviews, you get the awareness, and then you also get the audience piece.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. So once I guess in the best case scenario is for you to really focus on Amazon at the beginning.
Yeah.
You rank to the top, you know, you get the bestseller badge or whatever it might be, and then sales start coming in, reviews start coming in. At what point are you going to start focusing on your own website, and at what point are you planning on doing retail?
Yeah, so I think it's hard to say because I think I just want to like not scatter too much of my attention and focus on one thing at a time. If we do Amazon really well and we really hit that like ceiling of growth, then I might look into, you know, hiring a Facebook ads agency or like a conversion rate optimization agency and then like scale that channel. But I think for now, just mainly focusing on one channel, seeing how things go, scaling that, growing that, and then once that does well, then we can like implement like different channels, so to speak. So I can't tell you like a specific like timeline.
I actually love you said that because one of the things I tell people is that entrepreneurs were spinning so many plates.
Yeah.
And if you focus on just spinning one plate, you can spin that plate really well.
Oh, 100%.
But if you're spinning 5 different plates, like, you know, you only have 2 hands, 3 plates are gonna drop.
Yeah.
And you can't even spin those 2 plates very well.
Yeah.
So I think you're absolutely doing the right thing where it's like, hey, I have a dead focus, I'm gonna squeeze out Amazon as much as I can, and once I hit that growth, that's when I can maybe hire someone to take that side over and then explore another channel.
Yeah, because if you like, you know, different channels require different things, right? Amazon, there's like a different skill set. Shopify or your website, different skill set. Retail's a different beast on its own. So I think like a lot of entrepreneurs try to like diversify their focus and try to put like 3 pots in a stove when there's only enough fire for one.
Right.
And so I think really just lighting the gas on fire with one and then moving on to the next is, you know, what we prioritize, and just, you know, being all dialed in on like one channel first and then moving on.
Yeah. Well, that's super exciting. Guys, if you're watching this right now, you want to try out some Damien's cookies, click on the link below, effinggoodsnacks.com. .com. Super stoked. But I just want to end off the interview by kind of asking you one thing, right? You came from Hong Kong to here, like you made $30,000 a month on Amazon at a very early age. But then a lot of people might think like, oh, you know, your parents like gave you the money to start off your Amazon business. I think you were working a job, right?
Yeah, so
like,
they loaned me like $1,000 to start off with, but I had like a job for a while, and then I saved up from that.
How much did you save?
It's about $5,000 in total.
Right, so you got a job, your parents loaned you $1,000, and then you started off the business with $5,000. And then just launch your very first product, and then just one thing led to another, right?
She was crazy. Like I didn't know what to expect when I was launching it, but I guess it was like the right product at the right time, and I had like a bit of an audience, so that kind of, you know, lit the fire. But like things took off like pretty fast, like faster than I expected, which was crazy. And I think it's like a great opportunity for like young people or just like anyone in general to start their own business and get like growth really quickly. I think it's like not an opportunity that was like available like 20 years ago, and I'm just like super excited. I think like e-commerce is just like a tiny dot starting to like grow, so I'm like super excited to see like what's like gonna be going on in the future.
Well, I'm excited to just like be part of this journey.
Thank you, man.
And I opted into your pre-sale page, and I get emails, and like I feel like I'm part of the journey, right?
Exactly,
Like, oh, like this happened. Oh, check out this email.
You're part of the cult.
Like I'm part of the cult, and I feel like I'm part of the journey, and I feel like I invested my time and my effort, and I want this thing to do really well, because I
Thank you
always
so
feel like,
much.
oh, like this is like, I'm part of the company. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think you're doing a great job. And yeah, I can't, wait to see like what's gonna happen in 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years,
Thank
whatever
you,
it might
man.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Any last words for the viewers who are watching this?
Believe in yourself and be yourself. Yeah, that's it.
Sweet, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, of course. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know what to do.
Subscribe.
Subscribe to the channel. Click on, show Damien some support. Hit the like button, leave something, comment, and I'll see you guys in the very next video.
Bye, guys.
Boom.